A hand begins a journey, brings hope, guides dreams, and shares the heart's sweetest desires. A hand is all it takes to heal. In our experience, healing hands speak all the languages of nations. It makes us citizens of the world. A world where one hand helps heal another. Our hands, joined together, can mobilize the power of humanity. This is the goal we strive for at the International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies. Founded upon the desire to assist without discrimination to the wounded on battlefields, the Red Cross Red Crescent movement aims to prevent and alleviate human suffering wherever it is found. Through the 7 fundamental principles, we offer our hands to protect life and health without discrimination, ensure neutrality, and are willingly volunteered without any expectation. Our hands, joined, provide solidarity and a reminder that we are connected and have pledged our lives to share responsibility and duty, whatever the distance is. Today we ask you to join us in our efforts to end the suffering of vulnerable people affected and infected by HIV and AIDS across Southern Africa. If hands are tied and nothing is done, the economy of some Southern African countries are predicted to shrink up to 30% by 2010. There will be a substantial escalation in dependency ratios. More and more people and families are becoming vulnerable to sickness, death, the cost of care, support, and funerals. There has never been a greater worldwide need for responsibility than now. Hands are needed across Southern Africa to hold and heal the more than 12 million people living with HIV, the greatest challenge of our time. HIV and AIDS has become the leading cause of death in Southern Africa amongst adults, leaving more than 4.6 million orphans to fend for themselves. In 2006 alone, close to 1 million people died from AIDS, while a further 1.1 million were newly infected. Our greatest challenge demands that we find the most effective and efficient means to prevent the spread of the virus, reaching out to the most vulnerable groups. Beyond the statistics, we are talking about trauma experienced by children that care for and accompany their parents to death, of children growing with the virus in fear and pain, of women trapped into sexual violence and chased from their homes for being positive, of grandparents incapable of supporting their young grandchildren and unable to survive, of children becoming household heads and often sexually abused and robbed of their rights, of people living with a virus that stigmatizes and discriminates within their families and communities. To escalate action, the Red Cross HIV and AIDS Global Alliance was formed in 2006 with the sole mandate to pool our capabilities and resources and create an impact strategy to assist the people of Southern Africa. Governed by 7 very specific ideals, the HIV and AIDS Global Alliance presents the most effective ways in which to work together, rise up, and reach out. It's time to begin our journey of healing, and it starts with preventing further infections through peer education and community mobilization. through information, education, and communication, through promoting voluntary counseling and testing, through promoting the prevention of mother-to-child transmission, and through promoting skills for personal protection. Once the foundations are secure, treatment, care and support will need to increase to assist orphans and other children made vulnerable due to HIV and AIDS, to provide home-based care, treatment and support for people living with HIV, to promote community support groups and networks, to promote livelihood and food support for the most vulnerable, to reduce stigma and discrimination by promoting community support groups and networks of people living with HIV and partnerships with people living with HIV and AIDS organizations, by ensuring that HIV and AIDS workplace policies and programs are in place in all national Red Cross societies, by tackling gender inequalities and sexual and gender-based violence, by peer education, community mobilization and population-based information, education and communication. In each Southern African country, the program aims to reach 10% of the 20% of people living with HIV and AIDS and estimated to be in need of care and support. The program aims to reach 10% of the orphans and other children made vulnerable by HIV and AIDS. We aim to reach 10% of the general population targeted for prevention. This mobilization represents a quadrupling of the Red Cross effort in the region. To implement this strategy effectively and ensure its success, the movement is making a further appeal to the governments of the countries affected by the HIV and AIDS pandemic to pledge their financial responsibility. The program requires a further $253 million to cover the needs of national Red Cross societies and the support requirement of the International Federation. The regional appeal from 2006 to 2010 will be revised annually based on yearly operational plans, assessing the effectiveness of implementation and the evolution of needs. A midterm external evaluation will be conducted in 2008 to review the progress, strengths and weaknesses, with a final review taking place in 2011. The evaluation will assist us in making recommendations and guide the way forward into the latter half of the program. We believe in protecting human dignity. With a hands-on approach, our success over HIV and AIDS is absolutely attainable. We need your hands to help heal these vulnerable communities. We urge you to make a stand against this disease and rise up to the challenge ahead.